Hey everybody, and welcome to the GG Podcast, where we discuss the ins and outs of today's gaming industry and review games and gaming news. Today we'll be discussing the past era of games and how they can be compared to the types of practices that we have, in my opinion, been forced to consume due to the attention and budget monopoly of modern media sweatshops we like to call AAA game development companies. If I had to pick a starting point, I'd say my biggest gripe with today's games is the concept and practice of releasing unfinished and broken games. Back before early access became a staple of modern gaming, developers were forced to finish a game and its components and release a comprehensive product or risk bankruptcy from pushing out media that wasn't fit for public consumption. Now, with the advent of early access, even megacorporations and scammers have taken advantage of what was made for small development teams that didn't have funding to finish their games and have made it a staple of modern industry to release a product that, as I said earlier, is not fit for public consumption. Filled and riddled with bugs, technical issues, most of which would be normally ironed out during some sort of playtesting phase, are increasingly present in big budget games that I, for one, believe will never be fixed. After all, if the players are willing to dump money, why would any soulless business have the incentive to stop creating monetization schemes and instead fix the issues that inhibit a potentially loyal player base from receiving enjoyment? The biggest reason that this is an issue is because if you haven't noticed, like all modern media, there are very few well-known or popular companies actually making video games, and a select few control the general population of consumers. Not saying this is everyone, of course, but most people stick to what's comfortable and are unwilling to explore games unknown to them, and will happily play a cycle of Ubisoft, Activision, and EA titles and give them a disproportionate amount of time and money without being concerned for indie games unless it caught the eye of someone influential. It's just the reality of what we live in. When people want to consume media, no one wants to think about it. They want to go home, crack open a soda or beer, and relax to something they can give their brains a rest on. And what's more milquetoast than consuming an easy access title that's from a known company that's been around for decades, producing the same repetitive content with little to no changes or no soul in said changes? Path of the least resistance and all, you know. Not to say some of these games, or at least the games that made these companies big, aren't good. It's just that these companies have established a stranglehold in our brains in order to constantly feed content to those who aren't really thinking about it, but are all still being stimulated. Because that's how they make the big bulk of their money, appealing to the lowest common denominator. Games used to be an art form. They used to be an expression of a narrative to tell you about a legendary adventure or a gruesome reality in a distant world, and some were even just plain dumb fun designed to keep a player engaged and full of vigor through the whole ride. But modern games have become less about art and more about money. To kind of express this point, I'd like to take a look at Overwatch really quick. Overwatch 2 in quotes. As to how bad the gaming industry practices have gotten and how much they have removed the game aspect in order to find every crevice they can to produce profit in. Overwatch used to be a game primarily focused on and known for its fast and erratic movement and team-based combat that makes for a good adrenaline rush for any competitive spirit. Despite issues that it had, people loved it and didn't generally feel like it was a product purely designed to take advantage of players. It was made to be a game. It was made for people to have fun. In the past, Overwatch had loot boxes. Yes, for gaming in general, the concept of corporate pushing of cosmetics after you already paid an agreed upon price is kind of scummy. I personally hate microtransactions as a rule of thumb, but in Overwatch 1, they were never tied to gameplay and only served to push cosmetics and in-game currency, which also unlocked cosmetics and alternate voice lines, etc. Best of all, paying for them was an option because you could reach points in your game progression or as a gameplay reward that would give you loot boxes. With this current monetization, yes, technically the battle pass is an option, but even if you already paid for the full game, which was supposed to have all the characters unlocked, you still have to grind an absurd amount of hours in order to unlock the new characters, which ties their monetization scheme to the gameplay. And boy, look at all these shop prices. With global financial issues, the entire monetization model is a spit in the face, a slap in the mouth, and a kick in the balls for every gamer everywhere. Here at GG, we believe every game should be built with care, crafted in a way that expresses content to the player in a comprehensible manner and format, while also taking the player's perspective, enjoyment, and interaction with the game into consideration. Not hiring psychologists and businessmen to make unethical financial gain. The only way to fix this mess is to leave the abusive relationship we currently have with these companies. But can only hope, right? Some people like the abuse, some people are unaware of it, and some can't help but to accept that new switch from their wife's boyfriend. Either way, people will be people, and companies will generally do what pays the bills and increase profit with minimal effort. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends and family. That would really help out the channel, and with that, I'll see you guys next time.